And now for our next news special report.
Folks, what you're about to see isn't just another White House press briefing, it's a meltdown caught on camera. Karine Jean-Pierre cornered like never before, fumbling for answers about Biden's mental state. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got the explosive footage the mainstream media won't touch and a bombshell announcement from within Biden's own party. Stay tuned for my final thought because, trust me, you don't want to miss the shocking conclusion to this unfolding crisis. And just like the White House is facing tough questions, our channel is at a crossroads. For a decade, we have been your truth beacon, now under siege, demonetized for over 16 months. We're fighting to be heard, just as concerns about presidential fitness are being suppressed. We need your support now more than ever. Your contributions keep us bringing you the unvarnished truth about critical issues like leadership transparency. Don't let us be silent. Support us financially, through prayer, or by sharing our message. Visit the links below to stand with us, and together we will keep demanding real answers. The future of our channel, like our republic, is in your hands. Now, folks, the White House is in full damage control mode, and we've got the footage to prove it. Karine Jean-Pierre, Biden's mouthpiece, just got ambushed with the question that we've all been asking. Take a look at this.
I'm going to ask something delicate, and you may not like it. The president may not like to hear it if he's watching, but I think the American people need to get a yes or no answer on this. Does President Biden, at 81 years old, have Alzheimer's, any form of dementia, or degenerative illness that might cause these sorts of lapses? And it's a yes or no question. And if you don't know, why don't you, as one of his senior staff members, know?
I have an answer for you. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's a no. And I hope you're asking the other guy the same exact question.
Did you catch that? Her knee-jerk no doesn't exactly inspire confidence, but wait, there's more. When pressed about Biden's post-debate medical checkups, watch how she squirms.
After the debate, did the president get examined by a doctor, or did he get a neurological scan?
A neurological scan? Look, what I can say is that, just to take a step back, it was a bad night. We understand that it was a bad night. And the president has spoken to this. And he understands that. And so I cannot speak to anything beyond what I just shared. The president has regular annual physicals that we release in a thorough report. We're going to continue to do that. I don't have anything else beyond that.
Oh, really? A bad night? That's putting it mildly. But she wasn't done digging that hole. When confronted with Nancy Pelosi's comments, she had this to say.
Pelosi said it's a legitimate question to ask if this is an episode or is this is a condition. Which one is it?
Well, what I can tell you is that he had a cold and a bad night. I would not see this as an episode. I would see this as what it was and what we believe it to be, which is it was a bad night. And he did, on top of that, he had a cold. And that is the reality of the situation. That is the reality of what happened that night.
A cold? Really? That's her excuse for Biden's fumbling performance? But it gets even more absurd. She then tries to claim Biden's been more accessible than ever. Watch.
This year, the president has done more than 40 interviews. And unscripted, right? Those interviews are unscripted. He has done more than 500 gaggles, right? Of course, unscripted, talking directly to many of you. Well, let me just finish. And so he enjoys doing that. He enjoys engaging with all of you. And we're going to continue making sure that happens.
40 interviews and 500 gaggles? Who are they trying to fool? But the real kicker came when she doubled down on Biden's health. Watch.
I think part of the problem that Democrats are articulating is that it wasn't just that he had a cold, but rather he had, answers. He was trailing off. He didn't answer some questions in a sort of fulsome way. And speaking of Nancy Pelosi, one of the things that she recently said was that it was a legitimate question whether his performance was an episode or a condition. So I guess I wondered if there's been any consideration given to releasing a more robust set of medical records or something to show his mental acuity.
So I will say this, look, and again, I get the question. It is a fair question to ask. We are not taking that away, and that's why the president certainly has spoken to this. As it relates to his medical records, we have been transparent. We have released thorough reports from his medical team every year since he's been in office. That is something that we have been pretty consistent about. As it relates to, something like a cognitive test, to the question that you're asking me about what the speaker, former speaker said, obviously she can speak for herself. His team, who has said, the medical team said it is not warranted in this case. We have put forward a thorough, transparent annual report on his health. So they have said that is not warranted. It is not necessary. Again, we understand. We understand. We're not taking away from what you all saw or what the American people saw. We understand. It was a bad night. It is not uncommon for incumbents to have a bad night on their first debate. And we are going to continue to do the work that we have been doing on behalf of the American people. I think the president record certainly speaks for itself.
Perfect health? The American people aren't buying it, and neither should you. But the hits keep coming. When asked about Hunter Biden's presence at the White House meetings, her response was telling. Watch.
We're reporting that Hunter Biden has been in some meetings with senior advisors. Why is the president's son involved?
So a couple of things I saw that reporting as I was coming out, so a couple of things there. Look, the president, as you know, is very close to his family. This is a holiday week, 4th of July. He spent time with his family, as you all know, and reported at Camp David. Hunter came back with him and walked with him into that meeting, that speech prep, and he ended up spending time with his dad and his family that night. That is basically what happened. It is a week where there's going to be more family members who are going to come to the White House. I'm sure you'll see some of them on 4th of July. Many more are expected to be here.
No issue with family being in the White House. The question, though, would be, is he participating in meetings with senior advisors?
What I can say is that he came back with his dad from Camp David. He walked him into the speech prep, and he was in the room. That I can tell you, he was in the room. Anything else coming out of that reporting I can't speak to, but I can say that, he's close to his family, which is not unusual. They were together at Camp David. They came back together. You're going to see a lot more family.
Just a family visit? Or is there more to the story? Even CNN, usually in Biden's corner, couldn't ignore the obvious. Here's their take.
Well, the motivation behind that press conference was clear because Karine Jean-Pierre said it plainly. We want to turn the page. We want America to turn the page. We are hoping to turn the page. I mean, she said it 3 times. That was quite clear. The page is not turning because there was a lack of answers to the critical fundamental question that was being asked, which is, what happened? What happened that all of America saw? So Karine Jean-Pierre kept saying, we're not trying to ignore reality. We understand and acknowledge what America saw and witnessed, and that was a really bad night, and that was a bad debate. And we acknowledge that. But she does not offer one bit of evidence or reasoning or rationale for why. Why did America see what they saw that night? And there were a lot of questions asked by the White House press corps. Can we get more medical records? Can you bring the doctor in here and make him available? Is it time to do a cognitive test? You didn't do one in the last. And there was just none acceptance of that kind of a premise. It was just one bad night. We acknowledge that. But she's missing explaining to the country fundamentally why.
Turn the page? Sounds like they're running scared. But here's the bombshell, folks. Democrat Lloyd Doggett has become the first sitting lawmaker to call on Biden to withdraw from the race. The floodgates, my friends, are opening. Watch.
We come to you with breaking news and a serious question. Have the floodgates opened? Reported just now, congressional reporter for The Hill has a letter from a Democratic congressman calling on President Biden to step aside. It is Congressman Lloyd Doggett, a Democrat from Austin, Texas. He's calling on the president to step aside, making him the first Democratic lawmaker to make such an assertion. And the rationale, he states, is interesting. He goes on to say President Biden has continued to run substantially behind Donald Trump in the polls. That is what he cites. And it comes after there was a letter. There were vulnerable Democrats, according to Politico, that wanted to come together and write a letter about their concerns about President Biden. But they were stopped by other Democratic lawmakers who said, let's wait on the data, let's wait on the polls. And they ultimately, according to Politico, basically did not have the guts to run with the letter. But now, today, we have the first sitting Democrat from Congress calling on President Biden to step aside. Will there be more? Have the floodgates opened? We'll keep you updated.
And it's not just talk. He put it in writing. Take a look at the statement. President Biden should do the same. Those are his words, not mine. He's calling for Biden to step aside like LBJ did decades ago. And the White House is in crisis mode, folks. They're scrambling to defend a president whose fitness for office is being questioned not just by Republicans, but by members of his own party. The press corps is finally asking the tough questions, and the answers, or lack thereof, well, they speak volumes. Now, this isn't just about a bad debate performance or a series of gaffes. It is about the leadership of our republic. The American people deserve the truth, and it's clear the White House is doing everything it can to avoid giving it to them. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Folks, what we've witnessed today is nothing short of a White House under siege. Karine Jean-Pierre's fumbling responses reveal an administration in panic mode, desperately clinging to power. They're digging in, rejecting clear calls for Biden to step aside. But the truth can't be buried forever. As more Democrats like Doggett prepare to break ranks, the pressure will only intensify. The American people deserve a leader who's fully capable, not one whose fitness is constantly in question. So this crisis is far from over.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.